Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to talk about casual players in Modern Warfare, and the gameplay that I thought would be best for that would be for me to do the most casual thing I could possibly think of, which is sniping in ground war, and I have to say that this was super fun for me. I have spent weeks, if not months, doing bad guns in depth, getting this rushing gameplay, like hyper-aggressive stuff that looks good for YouTube, but just spending a little bit of time in ground war playing like my inner noob, just not caring about anything, camping, sniping, whatever, was really fun, and it was a nice change of pace, which leads me into today's topic, and that's that I think Modern Warfare is made for casuals only, and that Infinity Ward are probably going to ignore the rest of us unless we are somehow more valuable than the casual masses, which I don't think we are. I don't even mean that as some sort of like crazy knock to them, but they're a business, and if 90% of their players are happy and 10% of them are not, which is us, they're going to choose to keep pleasing the 90%. I've said similar things like this in the past, but I had some experiences recently that really exemplified this. It really drove it home, so it sort of hit the nail on the head, and it all came with me interacting with other people. Several people in my community have recognized the COD Mobile hoodie that I wear. So, I wear it to the gym, I wear it to go eat, or I wear some kind of Call of Duty merchandise, and occasionally I just get recognized by fans. People want a selfie, a picture, or something like that. It's great. And they're always excited, and they always want to talk about Call of Duty. Fans want to talk about Call of Duty, but anybody that sees that Call of Duty jacket wants to talk about Call of Duty. However, the opinions that they express to me, the random casual people in public, are radically different than what you're going to see on Reddit, Twitter, or even here on YouTube. So let's start with example number one. I met a guy as I was checking out at a restaurant, and he said that he bought Modern Warfare as his first Call of Duty in something like 8 years, and he really loved it, and this guy wanted to talk like a lot, so the checkout process was slow. But he told me that he enjoyed Modern Warfare because the guns were realistic, there were things that he had seen or used before, and this is Texas, so you can get anything you want here, I didn't doubt it, or, real life stuff. He didn't like the fake guns. He didn't like, apologies, he enjoyed the slower tactical gameplay. I almost said he didn't like it because I don't like it, but this person was really happy with that because they didn't like jetpack games. They didn't even like some of the more ground-based but more aggressive rushing Call of Duties. Being able to camp, being able to save up kill streaks and play defensive really appealed to him, and he told me how much he enjoyed it and how he used claymores and M4s and all that kind of stuff. He also said that he didn't like zombies at all. He just never got it, never got into it, didn't enjoy it, and that, not having zombies and having Spec Ops instead was refreshing. Now, I'm of a different opinion about that, but there are people in this world that just don't like zombies, or more particularly, they don't like fantasy stuff. And that's what Call of Duty struggled with for a long time. Black Ops slowly became more fantasy, and then you had Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, and not everybody is on board the fantasy train. Not everybody watches Star Wars, not everybody enjoys sci-fi or Harry Potter or whatever. There are a lot of people in this world that just like grounded, realistic stories, kind of like my father. He was one of them. My dad is a man who just doesn't watch too much stuff about ghosts or demons or magic or whatever. The majority of the things that he enjoys are things that are based on reality, and there's a huge mass of people in the Call of Duty community that are the same way. Sadly, this guy didn't know that ground war wasn't just 9v9. He thought it was like Modern Warfare 2 ground war, so when I told him about the big buildings and sniping and helicopters and stuff, he got very excited. I have no idea how he'll take to it. But let's move on to example number two. There was another guy that recognized the COD Mobile jacket in a different business and wanted to talk for a bit, and he actually had COD Mobile to play with his youngest son and Modern Warfare to play with his oldest son, and he enjoyed Modern Warfare because he could play with his son even though his son was on a different system and remote. I think like parents divorced or something, he didn't live at home, but he could play with his kids even though he had Xbox and his kid had a PS4 and his other friends had other things, but they could all party up, and that was great. He talked about, this was an older fellow, as you can tell, about enjoying being able to mount his weapons to help his aim because he's older and he kind of struggles with aiming. He just can't quite, really get those shots. He can't fight that recoil as good as he used to, and it's just not easy. But being able to mount his gun, even though I know that like mounting drives you guys bananas, was really appealing. It made him feel like he was able to participate more. He talked about how much he loved the M4. It was his favorite gun. He shreds people with it. He did complain that he didn't like the double barrel shotgun, so that's one thing the casual and the hardcore communities can agree on. And the fellow was also very happy about there being no loot boxes in the game. He said he didn't like some of the past ones that his son was playing, and he felt like he couldn't play them without spending a lot of money, but was happier with this one. So these are brief examples. These are just a couple of people that I've run into recently that have come to mind. But it's interesting to get that kind of feedback and to get it in person, because me, and I assume many of you here, live in sort of like a little insular bubble when it comes to Call of Duty. You get your engagement, your discussion, all of these things from Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, maybe Facebook, something like that, like a fan page, I Play COD probably, or the Charlie Intel, but that's where the vocal minority exists. That's where the most dedicated, hardcore, grinded out every day, play COD every year group is. The casual majority probably aren't even watching this video, but are, and maybe some of them are, but probably not commenting. The more casual the person, the more disconnected from social media they tend to be. So all of the complaints that we have as a community, even valid ones, I'm not trying to downplay everybody's complaints here, even the perfectly good, valid complaints about Dead Silence and Ghost and other stuff like that, those type of complaints have not reached the casual gaming masses. I don't hear the normal people that I run into express these kinds of frustrations unless I talk to them over time, and I know like as they play more they run into them. But the casual gamers that play an hour a day and are done, you know, maybe a couple days a week, whatever, they don't care at all, and they are the majority. And I don't know how much they're spending. I know they're buying the game, so that's the same price. If they're buying microtransactions like the rest of us, then they're going to get what they want. And if you look at the design of the game, it's clearly made for them. All the stuff that you guys hate and all the stuff that drives me crazy, mounting, dark corners, crazy elevation, impossible angles like insta-kill guns, claymores, beefy streaks, stuff like that, that's there for casuals. That's there for casuals that just want to play for an hour and shoot some RPGs at people and be done with it all. It's not really a serious game. And accepting this was relieving for me. Like, I'm never going pro at Call of Duty. I am never going to be on a pro team. I'm never going to be a pub stomper. I'm not making sniper montages. I'm not really even trying to do anything that high skilled most of the time, unless we start talking about PC. Now, if you want to start talking about PC, I am a sweaty Betty. I am competitive, probably much more in attitude than actual skill level, but I will sweat it up on PC, but not for COD and console. I just don't care. It doesn't matter to me if I go crazy negative. It doesn't matter if I camp or if I use overpowered guns like the M4. It doesn't matter if I build a Claymore Fortress or use white phosphorus on ground war or steel choppers. Who cares what my skill-based matchmaking rating is when I can't even see it, and there's not even a ranked mode in the game, and there's no ranked rewards? Letting go of all that stuff made Modern Warfare a lot more fun for me. It made it a lot more enjoyable because I was able to kind of sit back, relax, and kind of play whatever I felt like. And it was a feeling that reminded me a little bit of early PUBG and early Fortnite, where the competitive scene hadn't caught in and nobody cared how many kills you got. PUBG especially, because that was like a game changer in a lot of ways when it came to big open world type multiplayer. I was terrible at PUBG and I tried to get good for so long, and then at some point I just like stopped caring and I just started screwing around in PUBG and picking arbitrary fights and doing things with vehicles and trying to blow people up with it. And it made the game a lot more fun. The same kind of thing with Fortnite. It was super fun to screw around in until it turned into like a pro scene hyper building competitive sweat fest. But that's kind of how I'm feeling about Modern Warfare right now. I'm probably not going to complain about changes that the community wants that are never going to happen because they don't help casual players. And I'm just going to kick back and I'm going to relax. I'm going to play some ground war, enjoy myself, and I'm going to be the biggest noob that I possibly can. And of course I still have to do in-depth gameplay here on the channel, so that'll be a little different. But for commentaries that are more like this, it's just going to be ridiculous stuff. I think I'm just going to go straight shenanigans player and have some fun. And I think that's going to be an overall positive attitude for a lot of us. So if you're frustrated with Modern Warfare, even rightfully so, I agree with a lot of you guys, okay? You just got to realize it's a casual game for casuals, and there ain't no need for it to be so sweaty. You can just kick back, relax, and be casual along with everybody else. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. And I have a little bit of extra gameplay here, so I'll just let that run until it's done. Drifter out.